I saw a video on TikTok of a woman celebrating the fact that she has four children and none of them has sickle cell. Both she and her husband are AS, and luckily for them, none of their children ended up being sickle cell. Now, honestly, I am happy for them because sickle cell is not something anybody should wish on a child. But what I did not like was the way the entire situation was being spiritualized instead of acknowledging that it was mere luck. And the dangerous part about spiritualizing situations like this is exactly what I saw happening in the comment section. People were talking about tapping into the grace. And I was legitimately pissed off. One comment was from a pregnant woman saying she was speaking the same miracle over her unborn child. Please, can you scroll? So you acknowledge you knowingly entered an AS situation, fully aware of the risk involved, and now the fate of the child has been handed over to TikTok prayers and tapping of grace. Another person said she and her husband were trusting God for the same miracle before they start having children. Another one said she has refused to leave her relationship because she believes the same thing will happen for her. People are turning children's lives into gamble and using faith to justify avoiding responsibility. Yes, miracles can happen. Yes, those children end up without sickle cell. But that still does not change the scientific reality of the risk involved. The existence of exceptions does not cancel the danger of the pattern. What frustrates me is that we are in a generation with so much information available. Genotype awareness is everywhere now. We understand this condition far better than previous generations did. I used to think that with enough education and intentional choices, sickle cell cases would gradually die a natural death. But here we are, and with all the information, and still making stupid choices. And the sad thing is that when the miracle does not happen, it is the innocent child that carries the pain for life. Faith should not replace responsibility. Advocacy should not be ignored because of exceptional stories. And if you are lucky, do not present it as if it was some new way out that people can try. It's sickening. Stop spiritualizing things that common sense should handle.
You know, yeah. What really brought your attention to this her post?
First of all, I was looking for the post. I asked her to send it to me where the woman was giving the testimony and all. What brought my attention to this post is that I too I'm a sickle cell carrier, right?
Mm-hmm.
My parents have 6 kids and both of them are carriers. None of
All
us
both of your parents are carriers. Uh-huh.
none of us are sicklers.
Yeah.
So we are like the most lucky family in the world.
Well, I wouldn't even call it. For one thing, when you sent this to me, two things struck me. There is you know, I think perception usually swings like all both ways. Like there's a perception that maybe if you're a carrier or if you have any part of sickle cell in you, it's almost like you cannot get with somebody who has any part of sickle cell in you, because at the end of the day, it's just probabilities.
It does what are you trying to say?
Probabilities as in if someone who is AS gets together with another person who is a
They have a
carrier, right?
25% chance of making it.
You have a 25% chance
Of making
of
it.
making a sickler,
Yeah.
but that is a 25% chance.
That's a lot of chance.
That means that, well, that is probability. Everything in life.
That's a lot of chance for something that risky.
No, that means
The
you
reason
have.
why I didn't get I
That
don't
means
blame my parents is because they were ignorant. They were too illiterate
no.
people.
That means you have one chance out of 4 to have a sickler, and that means you have 3 chances out of 4 to not have a sickler
But
for
if
every
if
child that
if
you have.
peradventure, if eventually you have that sickler, that
Yeah, that is
that
probably an issue. But then again, it is 25% chance. It's a
a lot of
25%
do you
chance.
know what's 25% chance?
And yeah, and if I were a betting person, those are odds that I can take.
For us, that the outcome don't really matter like that. You want to talk about an outcome that will mean that this person's life. Somebody like Taboris, he's the biggest sickle cell advocate on this space because he's every day that boy shares his story. My auntie, that's my father's, the second to the last one, my father's housewife. That woman is a PhD holder. First of all, that's to tell you that they are not illiterate. But my uncle, on the other hand, he didn't go to school. It's just this kind of thing that you see a young girl, you like her, and you're a hustling man who does not go to school, you educate her to any level, and you marry her eventually. Good for them. So there are also these very church people, strong church people. They had the first child, the child was fine. They had the second child, the child was fine. They had the third child, the child was fine. Now they had the fourth child.
And the child was a sickler.
It was a sickler. My aunts, now that one vexed me past because the fact that you're first of all that educated, you should not make children without. You should know that you are. That's something you're supposed to check. But because she believes so much in God, she did not even check. Now when she had the diagnosis, she said that that's the doctor's diagnosis, not God's. That the doctor said it does not mean God has said it. That she was going to pray. And guess what? Till today, her prayers has not done anything. That child keeps suffering every day.
But then again, sincerely, it's just like people think about life as everything needs to be 100% certain about life.
Yes.
Right? For example,
there's no chance in this world am I and Gum Cynthia going to make a child for an AS man.
No, like,
there's no chance.
Like, for example, right?
Yes.
There is a chance that your pregnancy might lead to someone who has Down syndrome.
Yes.
There is a chance.
But it's really slim.
But it doesn't mean that you are not still going to have a child because your child might have Down syndrome.
At least I cannot trace it. It's not. I cannot control that one. At least I will not be the one to live with that guilt. I did not do that deliberately.
But there is still a chance.
Yeah, very small chance. Yeah.
Exactly. So there is a 75% chance that the child that you have is not going to be a sickler.
Yeah.
If I were a betting man, those are very good odds.
So
if it were,
you're a medical doctor and you're saying something like this, it's so embarrassing.
Actually,
it's so embarrassing.
No.
Because if you've watched a sickler,
that is just information. Let me say this. That is just information. And one of the things that we usually fail to do sometimes is we give people information and then we tell them how to feel about that information, which I think is not the way to go about passing out information. For example, if two carriers came to my office, if I were in the medical office and I had two carriers come and realize that there are two carriers, what I am going to tell them is that these are your chances. Un point, entre. I am not going to infer, because at the end of the day, when you're telling them that these are your chances, it's like, are you willing to take that chance or not? And it doesn't mean that, because sometimes when people say like that, it's as if it is a life sentence. It's like,
but it is.
It isn't.
If you've watched a sickler suffer, you will know that it's like, what are you saying?
It isn't. Because just like you're saying, you have parents who are all carriers and that's
the height of luck. That's sheer luck. They don't even know. It is when we grew up and we started doing our own screens that we like, so we have this, and they were like, oh, we don't know us. What is that?
It's just the same as, and also it's just the same as you can have two carriers and all your children are sickle cell.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So it is a chance that you have.
So why would you even take that chance? Why? Why would you take that chance?
No, because that is just life. Everything in life is a gamble.
Why?
Most things that.
See, what was that? That I think we love watching The Good Doctor. I have the bad one here.
Like for everything, starting a business. For example,
you cannot compare the outcomes of these chances here we want to take. If your business crumbles,
starting a business,
you know how many businesses have started and have crumbled.
Starting a business, you have like a 15% chance
of succeeding.
Do
you know how many businesses I have started and they have crumbled? Have I died? No. Will I start another one? Yes. But if I have a sickle cell child, oh Lord of Jericho, that child will suffer from the day
So
it comes into this world to the day.
if you can take a chance in something which is less than 15%,
Yes, even 5%, because
and then they're giving you a chance of 75%,
Mhm.
I think it is unreasonable to say
It is
that is
not
not a chance
unreasonable,
taken.
because this that's what I'm talking about, the outcomes of the chances we're talking about.
My whole thing is that I'm going to tell people what it is, but I'm not going to tell
That's
you
to say that if
how
you
to feel
what
about
what you're
what it
saying, in
is.
effect, what you're saying is that if you find out, are you a carrier? Oh, yes.
I don't think I am a carrier. I don't even know if I've not done.
I told you people, they're bad doctor.
It's not as if I'm about to start having children right now.
But what you're saying in effect is that if you found out that you're a carrier, you would still go ahead to make a baby with a fellow carrier if you felt like you wanted her to be the mother of your kids.
Sure. If I felt like that is a chance worth taking.
You are the most insensitive.
If I felt like that was a chance worth taking, then I would take that chance.
So it's as
For the most part, people are not that. People are not that valuable.
I don't get what you mean.
For the most part, people do not carry as much or that kind of value to be like, I'm going to take a chance on that. We can have a sickle. We can have a family of sicklers.
But at least some have the value.
That's why I said, if I think you are that valuable, then I could take that chance.
Yeah, so you're a very selfish person. Like you're that selfish.
It's a 75% chance that you're going to have normal children. What are you talking about?
You're that selfish.
It's a 75% chance. Most things that we do in life do not have 75% chances of success.
Yeah, but they don't have this. It's the outcome that matters.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that most things that we do in life do not have a 75% chance of success.
I know. Well, the other day I told you that marriages are riskier than heart surgeries, and you said it's not comparable because of the outcome. If you
But being a sickler is not a death sentence.
It's almost a death sentence.
What do you mean? There's even
in fact most sicklers beg for death.
There's even a cure for sickle cell anemia.
What's the chances
of
a bone marrow transplant success? What is the success rate of a bone marrow transplant? Most of them die in the process, first of all. And how many sicklers, especially in this country, can even afford a bone marrow transplant?
Wait, so you people's whole advocate, what is the advocacy for sickle cell anemia? What is the use for the advocacy of sickle cell anemia?
No sickle cell carrier, like so people like me, should not go having kids for somebody that also looks like me. That's what we're saying. I didn't know I was a carrier till I was like 40 in the university.
So basically, your advocacy is not information. Is basically telling people how to behave.
Yeah.
With information.
Yeah. First of all, let's start from the fact that.
Well, I'm not that pretentious. I'm not that pretentious to think that I can tell people what to do with their lives.
Yeah, you can be selfish about it, but that's fine. It's not fine anyways, but you can be selfish. You're allowed to, because you have a right to be. But if you ever watched, imagine that let me just assume that you're a sickle cell carrier, and you met that girl that beat all that was worth taking that chance for, as you said, and you meet a child, and that child was sickler. How would you look it in the face every day?
But it's a child. She's a sickler.
You watch her suffer, cry every night. You pet her, you carry her every day, and you be like, it was worth it because
You speak as if being a sickler is a death sentence.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. We have dealt with a lot of
really selfish. Like, you're really selfish.
Well, it can. Of course, it's a painful illness. I do not deny that. It's not very good to see people live in pain like that, for sure. but it's not as if your whole life is in pain.
Yeah,
That's not
most of their
that's not
lives are
the
in
way
pain.
that. Yeah, I
And
think.
depending, normally there's some people who minor crisis.
Yeah, I think
My
I've
uncle's
lived.
child.
See, I've lived with sicklers. I've lived with somebody who has sickle cell anemia. Actually, one I wanted to say one of my close friends, but it has been quite a while that we have actually spoken. We went to school together. She was a sickler, and I can tell you that the way that I see the advocacy being done, and the way that you want to make people feel about sickle cell anemia is not very accurate. Well, it's let me say it's a bit exaggerated.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, because like I said, sometimes people forget that I'm a medical doctor. We have actually worked with sicklers. We have seen sicklers during their crisis, and we have taken care of people like that. I have gone to school with sicklers, and we used to see how often they leave maybe school to go to the hospital for checkups and things like that. And if and basically if you follow, yeah, the recommendations which have been given to you by the doctor or whatever, for the most part they can live a very good life.
A good. Ay, I just, the thing is, people are going to watch this.
You know what this actually says to people who are sicklers already, when they hear these advocacies for sicklers. Do you not think about how it makes them feel?
Most of them are the ones who come out to speak like I'm speaking right now. Most of them, they're the ones that this is no life to live. No child should be going through. Most of them beg for death. Most of them, they like, this is not the pain is. The, somebody like Boris. If you follow Boris on Facebook,
Anyways,